What's up, Sober October? Signing in here from Kansas City. It's 10:21 in the morning. We're about 10 minutes away from the Armory. My wife's inside going to the bathroom. I figured I'd start making a little clip. This one's definitely going to be edited. I'm going to try to get some pictures and video from inside that I can all put together for today. Pretty excited. I thought a lot this morning about the whole sobriety thing. I know that a lot of times when I'm getting ready to do something highly social or like a big group event or something like that, it's you could call it a trigger. Usually I would go into something like that at least a little, buzzed on something, not like stoned out of my mind or anything, but from my perspective, it's called taking the edge off. So there's this thing called hypervigilance. It's a term. It's kind of associated with PTSD and veterans. It's basically just when somebody's on edge all the time, whenever, I'm checking everybody out, I'm sizing people up, I'm looking at license plates and exit signs and just kind of like calculating the intentions through body language of people in the room, kind of keeping an open idea of where the closest weapons are, things like that. And when I smoke, or I know for a lot of veterans, no matter what the vice is, part of the reason why they will use is in situations where they anticipate that their hypervigilance is going to put them in an irritable, aggravated, antisocial, or otherwise mood that they know will not produce the best interactions. And so it's kind of like a preventative sort of a measure. I can say that regardless of how that sounds externally, from the mind of the person giving themselves that excuse, it makes all the sense in the world. So this morning I definitely had this thing. It was like, smoke some weed. And then this other voice kicks in and it's like, Sober October would be the moment that this 13-year-old award from out of nowhere happens, which is obviously just a bunch of superstition, but either way, it's all good. I'm definitely going with the flow. Having the wife and kids, of course, helps tremendously. Having them with me is just, it's the anchor that gives me the confidence to know that I have no need for any of that other stuff. So I feel good about it as I go along. Sugar free, baby. Got that native advertisement. It took me a while to figure out what I was going to wear to this thing. I thought about wearing a suit. I almost busted out an old military uniform, but this is the one I landed on. DD-214 is the military paperwork that proves that you had a military contract at one point that you successfully completed. And basically the details, all the details from a successful military contract completion can be found in a DD-214. So the shirt's basically DD-214, living the dream. It's not really it's kind of like a comical, kind of a joke kind of deal, because to anybody that's still in, or to anybody that understands, the idea of a DD-214, a lot of soldiers by the end of their careers are just really, really desperate to get that piece of paper as just like the final thing. Once you got your DD-214, the military cannot force you into anything. For me, it's not like that. It's a little bittersweet. I really appreciate my military experience. It helped me grow as a person tremendously. And even though I love my civilian life now and I wouldn't change it, I still have great respect for the military. I cherish all that experience and the skills that I was able to hone during that time. So this is more for me of a proclamation of just honor and respect and success. I appreciate that I was able to get my DD-214 and then come out and live the American dream. It's like I fought to defend what I'm now living through. And I couldn't be happier. So Here we are. Pretty exciting. Yep.
Those that don't know, our improvised explosive devices, which was the weapon of choice that our enemy used against us in Iraq. So while most people were trying to avoid IEDs, this group over here went very, very well. You should be proud of your accomplishments when you're in Iraq. And today's presentation of the Glorious Unit Award is validation of those efforts. But having that ribbon on your uniform, just like any other award or combat patch, doesn't really tell the whole story of what you did there. But you know what you did there. You know the hardship you face there on a daily basis. You know the job you did there on a daily basis. You know the dangers you face there on a daily basis. And you know your commitment to the mission that you made there on a daily basis. And those daily results added up to some phenomenal numbers over that year-long deployment. And the tag mentioned some of the numbers. Some of the other numbers are almost 1,000 combat missions to include rock clearance, patrols.
All right, well, that went pretty well. It's very surreal. Got to see a lot of cool people that I haven't seen in a long time, and now we're gonna head and go do something fun with the family, hopefully. Have some fun with the family. Man, that was surreal. Oh man, hell of a day today, y'all. Hell of a day. Here it is. Department of the Army. This is to certify the Valorous Unit Citation has been awarded to Company C, 110th Engineer Battalion, for actions in direct combat in 2006, specifically between the 13th of April and the 9th of October. Pretty specific. I guess it just took 13 years for them to crunch the numbers and collect all the history and basically compared every unit and seeing, you know, who did what was effective and who made a difference, and then here we go. We actually got put in for the Presidential Unit Citation, which is the highest unit honor that one can get, equivalent to a blanket Medal of Honor, basically. The Valorous Unit Award is equivalent to the Silver Star, the second highest, which is fantastic. Being a National Guard company level unit that was attached to a regular Army element over there, and we traveled back and forth between all different kind of landowners. So I don't know, man, to get that recognition, you know, that validation is quite legit. It's I don't know. I'm still kind of processing. It's tough. It's tough to reassimilate. It's tough to regain composure and ground yourself back in the civilian world after such an experience. There's no way to explain it. So, I'm just not even gonna try. One thing I was thinking about earlier is that a lot of times when people think of war, they think of killing. They think of, you know, murdering your enemy. Well, that's not how I see what we did, not even close. I see what we did as saving lives. When we went over there, we knew all the stats. Every time an IED went off, every time a roadside bomb went off, that meant a certain amount of casualties. You know, it's a certain amount of possible military casualties, a certain amount of civilian casualties. There's stats for it. It'd be like a fraction, like 2.1 civilian casualties per uncontrolled detonation. And it was our job to lower that number. So we went on right over 1,000 combat missions inside that little less than a year of actual combat. And of those 1,000 missions, we recorded finding 948 IEDs, roadside bombs, or triggerable explosive ordnance of some kind. So when I think of that number, 948, it's basically 1,000. You know, there's a death toll that would have been attached to that number had we not been able to complete our mission as effectively as we did. And that's just, I don't know. That's the memory that I carry with me. I don't think about the violence as much. I think about the good we did, and the good I'm ready to do again at any moment that becomes necessary. And you know, another thing I was thinking of, I guess now that I am on this track, people talk about, oh, well, you know, it's stupid to say that fighting for keeping your assault rifles in the United States is stupid because there's no way that you could go up against the United States military or whatever. Like, they've got tanks and aircrafts and nah. Give me a break, y'all. Let somebody try to come and occupy Missouri. You think we did good on offense? I got a whole order of magnitude increased in my abilities since then, and defense is easier. Come on home. I don't want it to happen, but you know what? It's going to prove something to a lot of people if it has to. So don't go there with that crap. The reason that people are talking like they are now is because they don't know shit about it. So I won't go too much more into that. I'm all excited, man. I got to talk to all my old buds today. We went to the Brazilian Steakhouse, which I highly recommend. It is pricey, but boy, it is an experience. They're bringing these big ass things of meat around on these skewers, and there's like a little card that you hold up that shows if you're interested. And if it's green, boy, they come by and you want this, you want that. They got lamb, they got sausage, they got chicken, they got pork, they got all kind of different beef cuts. And anyway, that was really cool. Got to have some good conversation with some old friends that I hadn't seen since the day we got back. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there and possibly continue processing some of this over the next few videos. Tomorrow's going to be different because I got a friend coming over. We're going to do a little podcast format. It's going to be a really cool experience. I hope to be getting more and more of that. I've got some other people that I'm lining up. And then, of course, the beginning of this video will be edited with the stuff that I took earlier today. So, fun, good experience. Good training. Man, what a day. All right, good night.